All right, so me and Mike both just got done watching Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Man, it is bad as I remember it being.
Movies like this are the reason why we started 0 stars.
Yeah. There.
Before we get into it, first, the synopsis. Every generation, a portal opens up between the outer world and Earth. Emperor Shao Kahn, played by Brian Thompson, ruler of the mythical outer world, pounces the moment the portal reopens and slips through with his mighty warriors, intent on total domination and uniting the two worlds. However, he only has 7 days to complete his task. In the meantime, opposition grows and warriors, Sonya Blade, this time played by Sandra Hess, Jax, played by Lynn Red Williams, Katana, played by Talisa Soto, and Liu Kang, played by Robin Shao, get ready for war. Now, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, to make fun of, but let's start off with some positives. I think for starters, James Remar is a much better Raiden than the Highlander.
Much, much better. I also forgot Jax is recasted in this movie as well. Jax is in the first movie for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
He's with Sonya on the docks right before she gets on the ship. I will get, and then I don't know if I technically am going to call it a positive, but my God, I will give them the credit for going for the character limit in this movie.
Yes.
Because in the first one, you had Johnny, Lou, Sonya, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Goro, Shang Tsung.
Reptile.
Oh, what was that?
Reptile.
Oh yeah, Reptile, Shang Tsung, and then Goro. So he had 9 total. They introduced in just this movie alone Sindel, Motaro, Shinnok, Shao Kahn. Hold on. Sindel, Motaro, Shinnok, Shao Kahn, Rain, Ermac, Shiva, Smoke, Cyrax, Nightwolf, Jade, Melina, Baraka, and 2 Elder Gods. So 50 new characters. Oh, and I will say the fights are much better in this movie.
Yes.
And there's a lot more of them.
That is a thing you can say about this movie.
Mike, what's the message you sent me 2 minutes into watching this?
I said, okay, I'm 5 minutes in, and this looks so, and already this looks so cheap.
Oh, it's terrible.
And here's the best part. So this movie came out in 1997, 2 years after the first one. The budget is at, okay, without looking it up, how much do you think the budget was?
Oh man, the sad part is I did look this up at one point, but it has not been recently. What was the first one?
18 million?
50.
30.
Oh, okay. So it's more expensive.
Yeah.
And it looks worse.
Yeah.
No, the quickest one to mention is I just noticed exactly how bad it is now. Shiva's second pair of arms are 1,000% CGI, and they like float like an open rib on the side of her. And I'm like, wow, those look bad. I'm like, Goro looked awesome, all things considered. Shiva looked terrible.
Yep. There's also a lot of really obvious green screen going on. Like anytime
that whole first scene.
Oh God, it looked garish.
Yes.
Like the first, I think like the first like 5 to 10 minutes is just, it's just this awful like washed out like like blue tint and ah.
Yeah, and like you can see it, especially when Shinnok and Raiden are like just talking to each other. Like you see the outside of like Raiden's hair is not matting well with the green screen because of the gray and the blue.
Also, can we fucking talk about like Shao Kahn's performance? How just completely over the top it is.
The time has begun! Annihilate him! That guy, I don't mean to be disrespectful. He is discount, like, Flavor Right brand Vin Diesel. Like,
yeah, he is.
No disrespect, but my God, guy, how he pronounces
Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson, how he pronounces everything. I don't even know what to classify it as, because everything is like, and it will be done in this way. What? That's not even a speech impediment. I don't know what that is.
I could not take him seriously for 1 second.
No, and I guarantee you he was coached to talk that way, but
that's a choice. It's not a good choice, but it's a choice.
It's a choice. A choice for sure. Oh boy, and they play. Now that I rewatched it, I forgot details about this movie that they like. You asked me in the last one, like stuff from the games. They made up a whole host of new shit for this one that never makes it back into the games.
And any that stand out?
First of all, Shinnok is Cetrion, like a time god's son, and crap. Hold on. I have that confused. Hold on. I have this because they didn't introduce that Shinnok had family until Mortal Kombat 11, which came out like a year or two ago.
Jesus.
Kronika is his mom, who's a time god, basically, and then Cetrion is his sister. He has no kids. Raiden is not his kid. Shao Kahn is not his kid. Shao Kahn and Raiden are not siblings. Could not be further from the truth. That was some storyline itchy bullshit they threw in this movie that added nothing. The plot does not change.
Wow. Just fucking wow.
And like the dumb dragonfly tattoos, that's horseshit.
Yeah, what the fuck even was that?
I don't know. That's totally stupid. That makes no damn sense. People in the Mortal Kombat games didn't have to have special powers to go to other realms. They just went there. So they made that up to pursue this stupid-ass made-up family storyline that didn't add anything. Melina is in this movie. She was the girl in pink who never got a name introductions that fought with the Sais against Sonya because they had to have a woman mud wrestling in this movie.
Of course.
I forgot to mention, Paul Anderson directed that first movie. Somehow, this movie was so bad, Paul Anderson didn't want to do it. That is saying something. Paul W.S. Anderson, by the way.
Not Paul Thomas Anderson.
No, the guy behind all the Resident Evil movies who didn't want to do this one.
Hold on, back up. I'm on Wikipedia right now. Tony Jaa was Robin Chow's stunt double.
I did not know that.
Good to know.
That's okay. But I was saying, Melina in the games is literally a copy, a clone of Katana made in a flesh pit by Shao Kahn to impersonate Katana after they got rid of Katana because she was becoming too much trouble. Underneath that veil, she has a set of teeth like a Tarkatan, which is what that rubber-faced Halloween reject was that Liu Kang fought in the cellar to get Katana.
Good Lord, this movie is just...
Oh!
It is just all over the place.
Oh, what else? Like there is a part in the games where or I should say Shao Kahn disobeys the rules, and then like the Elder Gods punish him, but he kills Liu Kang to do it. Because like he cheated in Mortal Kombat, which he does every time because as soon as Liu and the crew get in, he can't do anything. Shinnok is an Elder God. That part is true. Like Sindel does get resurrected, but she gets this is a part that never even made sense in the games. She gets resurrected in Outworld, where it made some loophole to where they could keep the portals open and try and fight. So that whole rigmarole that never made sense in the games is put in here. And like initially Sindel got killed or assassinated. Shiva was supposed to be her guard, so that's still true. And then Shao Kahn took Katana as his daughter so that like she wouldn't get killed. And then, like, later on in MK11 Aftermath, you find out they retcon it that she was evil the entire time and killed Jared so that she could get in power with Shao Kahn. So, like, she was good at first and then got retconned to be evil.
Huh.
King Jared was the person who was in charge of another realm called Denia, which is where Jade, Katana, and a bunch of other people and Sindel are from. Jade in the games is an African American who is also an Edenian who is Katana's childhood best friend.
And none of that made it into the.
None of that made it in. Don't know why, but wow, I forgot just how fast and loose they play with a bunch of shit in this movie.
According to Wikipedia, the film storyline is largely an adaptation of Mortal Kombat 3.
Adaptation is a real stretch.
Yeah, they clearly use that term loosely.
Oh God. Woo! My brain was going through shit. I forgot that they introduced an entire full fighting game roster worth of people in here. So I also lied. Johnny Cage is alive for 5 minutes at the beginning.
Yeah, he gets like a line of dialogue, and then he's off in like the next minute.
Yeah. So before I get way too much more negative into this movie, because my God, what other castings did you like, if any?
I like the new Sonya Blade.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she handled herself in the action scenes a little bit better. I kind of in a better written film, I would have liked her camaraderie with Jax. And Jax himself, I think his arc is pretty okay. You know, the whole his strength comes from within, and like he didn't need the biomechanical arms or whatever.
Yeah, and in the games, like his arms get ripped off. Like those are new arms. They didn't have sleeves that you could pull off. So I thought that was kind of something else.
But, yeah, that was whatever.
Lynn Williams. I have to remember with Jax in the Mortal Kombat movie, if I'm not mistaken, Lynn Williams was a American Gladiator.
Huh.
Hold on.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
American gods, why are you even? American Gladiator. Lynn Red Williams Jax was Saber on American Gladiators. Oh, there's 2 American Gladiators. Darren McBee, who plays Mataro, was Malibu. So they had 2. I didn't know that. They had 2 American Gladiators fight each other in this movie.
That actually is really cool.
That is cool. But I think Lynn did really well as Jax. Like his attitude and all that was cool. He was the early version of Jax before he became a real hardy drill sergeant, more towards that attitude in the later games. But yeah, I think he did good. he had genuinely good chemistry with Sonya in this movie. I will give it that.
Yeah, I would consider that sort of the highlight.
Yeah, because like no one else did. Like oh my god, like Nightwolf is also. Can we talk about how they just throw away Nightwolf's whole entire thing?
Okay, you're gonna have to explain Nightwolf to me because he literally just came, he just kind of shows up, says, "Yo, Lou, do the tests," and then just leaves.
Nightwolf. How do I even? He was, to put this lightly, Nightwolf is kind of he's a Native American who was chosen to be an Earthrealm fighter during Mortal Kombat 3. But this stupid horseshit with these tests is totally made up for the movie. I have no idea what that was. Like, Nightwolf, I guess, is known for being able to turn into a wolf, but they don't even consider it an animality. An animality was just something that was brought up as another way to do a fatality in a game. So they're like, hey, Nightwolf could turn into a wolf. Let's say he knows how to teach people animalities. Her. Like, and also the camera shaking when it's supposed to be a wolf on his head.
Good lord.
And it's like, Nightwolf is supposed to save him or like teach him this stuff. So I'm going to have you do these tests. One of them is me knocking you out. And then you're going to find something. He just lets Jade find him and take him away. He just walked off. That's it. He's done with the movie. He's just gone.
It's just so stupid.
And he just gets his animality because he got real mad. He hulked out his animality. It's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb. And Jade is just in the middle of the desert, just found him and knew right where it's like, this is what a Nightwolf's tests. Yes. That is the thing I was going to tell you. Nightwolf's test. Yes. I don't sound suspicious. I tried to have sex with you the second you woke up. It's okay. Let's just forget about Katana. But before we get there, we got the introduction of one of my favorite characters in the series, Smoke. Who, dependent upon what game he's in, is either a ninja or a cyborg. Now I'm going to teach you about some of the stupid shit in Mortal Kombat. All right. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. The Lin Kuei are dumb. So, the Lin Kuei is...
wait, were these the cock-blocking ninjas that I mentioned?
Kind of. I don't even know if that was supposed to be the Lin Kuei. But the Lin Kuei are Sub-Zero's clan. And at some point, the Grandmasters of the Lin Kuei, who weren't Sub-Zero quite yet, decided, you know what? Our people have free will, and I don't like that. So they just decided, we're going to turn a bunch of them into cyborgs. One was Smoke. Another was Cyrax, was who they fought in the base where they find Jax, who is... Smoke is known for being able to be ethereal and turn into smoke. Smoke is the only one that you actually get to see as a ninja pre MK9. Then you get to see the pre-human forms of Cyrax and Sector, which are the two other Lin Kuei, and then a couple other ones. Like, then they just never even show it. They're like, boop, we're sent by Shao Kahn. We're not even from the Lin Kuei. We're just robots that he found in somewhere. And he fights them. You get to see the second Sub-Zero, and then you get to see Scorpion. Scorpion yelling suckers is one of the stupidest things in this entire movie. Kiona mentioned it in one of the things that he would keep just because of how dumb it is, but my God, it's just so out of Scorpion in these games is essentially Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if Ghost Rider was, what do I want to say? A deranged maniac all the time. He's drunk with the spirit of vengeance.
And by the way, that's Ed Boon again as the voice.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Ed Boon is. I wish I could pull off what that guy does. And Ed Boon looks like the nicest man on the planet, but he pulls off that out of nowhere. Also, my God, I never noticed it till now. When Scorpion and Sub-Zero are fighting and he knocks Sub-Zero over, and then Liu Kang does that stupid dumb flip over the chasm to go get him, when he lands, you know how when they cut back to Sonya, or cut back to Katana, Scorpion grabs her and teleports out?
Yeah.
If you go back and watch this, and you don't need to, but if you go back and watch it, when Liu Kang does the flip and he lands, Scorpion's already standing behind her, waiting to do his part.
Oh, wow.
I never realized it or saw it till this time, but holy shit, did it stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh, this movie. I fucking hate this movie.
A lot of the times as I was watching this movie, I was just kind of like I was just kind of laughing at the absurdity of, well, all of it.
Oh, Mike, hey, by the way, also, going back to the stupidity that is Nightwolf in this movie, you like how, okay, that if you know who I am, then you know that I won Mortal Kombat. And Nightwolf's exact response is, the tournament had rules. This doesn't. Fuck you, that first tournament had rules. No, it didn't.
The only rule in that tournament was don't die.
Don't die. And then you might count as a tournament win. I don't know.
Well, yeah, whatever that means.
I'm kidnapping Sonya. Oh no, Goro's dead. But one thing that pisses me off about this movie, and give or take, the coolness of this character and why he's my favorite of the colored ninjas came much later. Ermac in this movie is essentially the X-Men Origins Wolverine version of Deadpool, but cooler. Ermac, who, for those of you that don't know, Mortal Kombat is known for making stupid shit out of rumors that kids started.
Okay.
And I don't remember what game. It might have been Mortal Kombat 2. There was an error that would come up that was called error macro.
Oh, wait. I think I know where this is going.
So then it ended up turning into a character called Ermac. So there we go. That's how we got Ermac the Red Ninja. Ermac in the games eventually, once he got his own identity and wasn't just a palette swap, became a soul, like basically a soul container for Shang Tsung. And that's how he kept together when he kept absorbing more souls. The cool thing about him is that the main soul that he has is King Jared, the guy who used to be Sindel's husband and is Katana's dad, the former ruler of Edenia. So the maiden badass soul that is in charge of piloting Ermac is King Jared, the former ruler that Shao Kahn took over. So basically, they dumped him into an evil body, made him look like a space wizard, and then, like, just started over. I'm going to see if I can pull up. Hold on.
Oh, you're going to try to find a picture of Ermac?
Oh, I can get you a good picture of Ermac. It's not hard to find them. Like, I'll show you my favorite version of what he looks like, which is from Mortal Kombat Deception. Here we go. We're gonna share screen. Go up to there. That's what Ermac looks like.
Yeah, he looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's my favorite of it. Like, that's what he looks like in the original games. Obviously, he was just a red palette swap ninja. But like, yeah, he's just basically a soul prison. And then when he starts running out of souls, he starts looking like a dilapidated husk because that's basically what he lives off of. But anyway, I hate seeing Ermac in this because he gets jobbed out to Sonya like an absolute hapsless loser. But a lot of people that happens to in this. Remember when Goro was the guy to pass? If you got past him, you got the Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
Shiva is from the same Shokan clan as him. Shiva gets killed by dropping the cage on her.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's why she died in the movie. When they leave, she goes, "Rah!" That's it. And that was after he got in a fight.
This movie doesn't know how. This movie doesn't know how to stakes.
It doesn't, and it's just I hate this movie. I hate this movie. I'm having a hard time trying to talk about everything in it because it jumps from, hey, there's a character, it makes no sense, shoot him on in there. And like Rain is another colored ninja. Guess why he's called Rain?
Because he's a waterbender.
Close. Do you see what his color was?
Yeah, I don't like it.
He's the most lazily named of the colored ninjas ever. He is literally Purple Rain. And
wow. Just come on.
I know. And in the continuity, Rain is an Edenian prince. He would not be putting up with this shit. Give or take, he's a villain half the time, but he fucking hates Shao Kahn.
So what you're telling me is this movie gives I can't even say it gives 0 fucks. It gives negative fucks.
It does.
It takes fucks.
Exactly. And like they were accurate with Wataru. Like Wataru hates the Shokans because they're like an opposite race or like a rival race. And like he was just there to be there. And then like Sindel, okay. Also, by God, before we get away from that, Sindel in this movie has one of the worst, and this is not hyperbole, I mean this, has one of the worst line reads in a movie in cinema history.
Which one?
One of the very first lines she says, "Too bad you
will die."
Oh,
yeah, that's all from the first 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's your introduction to one of the most badass women in fighting games. Is that? And then she's just useless for the rest of it. She pisses off the Elder Gods by crashing a canyon, and that's it. And she sets one of the most pointless... They were supposed to fall into a trap when they all followed Jade to that place. The trap was, I'm going to be about as lethal as the sisters from Hocus Pocus, spin around in a circle and then leave.
Oh, God. Yeah, none of that plan worked at all.
No, it didn't. And it's like they infer that the entire time that the Elder Gods just aren't noticing what they're doing. Like Shinnok says like 5 times, if the Elder Gods learn of our plan, idiot. There's no way they don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, from what I understand, these villains are incompetent. They really can't do anything without the Elder Gods finding out.
Yep, because like the point in Mortal Kombat and the Elder Gods are borderline useless in the Mortal Kombat games because every time you hear the Elder Gods, it's Raiden being upset about something that should just be solved by them, but they don't feel like doing it. But like in this one, it actively shows that they're paying attention and will do something if it goes wrong. And we'll get to it at the end with the worst CGI I've seen in anything ever.
Hold on, before we go any further,
yeah,
it's from what I understand, in this movie is when Raiden becomes an Elder God, but is that true in the games that like has Raiden always been an Elder God?
It depends on what continuity and what you're doing, because like Raiden is just a god of thunder. He's not like an elder god. He is what they call, like, I want to say a demigod, basically. It's like him and Fujin are the only other. I was supposed to mention Cetrion, but Cetrion's an elder god too, so she doesn't count. Basically, him and Fujin, who's the god of wind, are the only ones that get mentioned as gods that aren't elder gods. And again, depending on what game you play, he becomes an elder god. He becomes disgraced by the gods and loses his power. He becomes drunk off of something in a Jinsei. Like, Raiden has a different plot every game, and 9 times out of 10, it's him screwing things up for everyone else because he just doesn't know how to not be doing something. If he just shut up and stayed away half the time, Raiden wouldn't ruin half the games. Like, Mortal Kombat 9 and up is Raiden screwing everything up for everyone else. But yeah, that's kind of not how it is in the games. Like, again, it depends on what you follow and all the arcade mode endings. There's 1,000 different ways all these games go if you listen to the arcade mode endings, which is a different ending for each and every person. Like Shang Tsung basically becomes Emperor Joker at one point in one of the arcade mode endings for or the ultimate end, the bad ending for 11. Like, if I'm thinking of Emperor Joker correctly, that's the one where he steals Mitsapitalik. I can't say it.
Mixaspitlik's
powers somehow, and then like kills Batman for like an eternity. It's like that pretty much. Shang Tsung becomes that in the ultimate version of one of his endings. But yeah. Raiden also does, I believe, at one point become just like a wandering samurai. So I'm trying to remember if there's an exact point where he actually gives up his godhood to become immortal, though. I think that's just in here. I could be forgetting it again. Like, the older games are way old ago, and I haven't played like through the stories on them in a long time. But yeah, that's something else. Yeah. At least we got a better actor for Raiden.
That's true. I don't know if I mentioned this on air or not, but James Remar is probably better known now for playing Peter Gamby on Black Lightning.
Yeah, I believe.
And
you mentioned that, yeah, but go ahead.
And that's kind of cool stunt casting because, you know, Raiden's the kind of god of thunder. So, you know, to see him imbued with all this power in a movie where he is so much better than the movie around him is pretty cool.
Yeah, like, he actually like sounds like what a god should sound like. Like, he's got like the cadence of his voice, how he carries his lines, and how he talks to them. Like, I can't like, he has a genuinely amazing line at the end of talking about you cannot disvalue life or something. I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's an exact.
It's close to that.
Yeah, can't put a value on human life or something like that. It's actually a really good line. He delivers it awesome. And like the line where he wants to die immortal and all that, but we'll get there. Is it like, what were some fight scenes that you generally liked? I know that this is meant to be more negative than anything, but I got to get something positive out of this movie because I just can't. I'm gonna have a fucking heyday when we get to the end of that movie.
Fight scenes that I liked. I'd say I like the scene where Sonya and Jax are, you know, trying to escape whatever from, you know, those ninjas.
Yeah.
I like that one.
The fight with Cyrax.
Yeah. I think just for the fan service of it all, I did kind of like seeing Sub-Zero and Scorpion have at it.
Oh yeah.
And what else? I think all of the fight scenes, whether or not they make sense in the context of the film, at least they're choreographed better than anything in the first movie that wasn't the final fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there's actual stuff to it. Like you could tell that it's very, very heavily choreographed, but at least they're fights. Like some of the stuff is like they would never happen in a fight like this, but like the one random spot where Scorpion does like a flip in the air and then like drops Sub-Zero clean down into the ground. There's like a lot of flips and random stuff that are like, hey, these people are superhuman. Let them do some stuff. It was cool. So, and you even had Raiden fighting in this movie. That was pretty cool. Like the scene with him with the noob Cybot like ninjas that were in the one catacombs where they took Sindel. Yeah, I give them credit. They did that. Give or take. They've already been put to shame by the 2 minutes of fights that I've seen in that new Mortal Kombat trailer, but oh, I can't wait for that thing. But yeah.
So should we talk about the animality now? Some of the worst looking CGI, even worse than Reptile in the first film.
Yeah, and I gotta ask you something here. So Liu Kang typically in most things turns into a dragon, which give or take he did do, and he does in the new Mortal Kombat trailer, which is nuts. I'm so giddy about that.
I am so pumped for that.
That's what he's supposed to look like. Or in the games, he's supposed to look something like this. That style of a dragon.
That's basically the logo, right?
That's basically the logo. But then you get this shitheel. Whatever that thing was. And then you got the Hydra. Which looked worse to you, the Hydra or the little stump dragon that Liu Kang was?
That's actually a good question. I want to say the Hydra only because it looked the most plastic out of the two.
And especially the point where he's like where he's turning into the dragon and you see his forehead like sponge up trying to go into it.
That's why it's worse.
Yeah.
Because the transformation is just straight garbage.
Yeah.
At least Liu Kang's transformation, it didn't look perfect, but it looked more seamless.
It did. It had something to it at least. And like, would you prefer them to actually try and do the lanky version of the dragon?
Not if it was going to look. Not if they were on the same budget.
Also, I know you're not. I don't know how much you know about wrestling, but like, Liu Kang Hurricane Rana'd the freaking Hydra when they went off. A Hurricane Rana is when you wrap your legs around a guy's head and then flip them forward. Like he did that with the Hydra head when they fell. What is this horseshit? But yeah, you had their fight with all that, and outside of that, they actually only played the Mortal Kombat theme once. Movie. That was crazy. That's crazy. I forgot about that. They played it like 4 or 5 times in the first one. They only saved it for the final fight here. I'm like, that's actually good. And I like how they got their little moment and then they had the quick upbeat, like they basically rewound the tape to get back to where the theme was playing before they had their spout. And the other fights were okay. At the end there, I do genuinely like Jax's. Like I love the line when he first gets to the Jax's fight where he whips his tail, like I'm gonna make you eat that thing. But yeah, taking the arms off and then beating the crap out of him that way was good. I think the forced Jax help thing was a little bit whatever for Sonya's need to ask others.
I didn't love that.
No, because she's been shown to be really able to take care of herself up to this point. Like, she won basically both the fights that she was in, helped Jax take care of Cyrax, which they got Sonya's kiss of death fatality in this movie. The kiss blow thing, that's actually in the game, so I was kind of cool with that.
Oh, that's cool.
But like, she finishes off Melina on her own. She took out most of the ninjas. She finished off Cyrax, and she needed help fighting Ermac, and I'm going to assume that was their version of Noob Saibot, who is basically just the black ninja who's a shadow. I don't know, but
I can only assume that that was who that was.
Yeah,
because Noob Saibot is in like the same actor JJ Perry is playing Cyrax, Scorpion, and Noob Saibot.
Oh, well, alrighty then. Then that was Noob. Okay, either that was Noob or those two random ninjas that looked exactly like Noob Saibot that Raiden fought was Noob. But I'm going to assume Noob was Ermac, or the guy that shadowed out of Ermac. That would make sense. And then that could, like, I get it was even all right, but that Sindel Katana fight was I didn't like it. It's one of those, just, it's the most, like she does that axe kick. Oh no. Ha! Like, you choreographed it from 5 miles away. I knew you were gonna, like, ugh. Again, these are 90s fights, so you can't say much.
Yeah, like,
when did Jurassic Park come out?
Jurassic Park was 93. 2 years before
the first
Mortal Kombat.
Like, all the little dinosaurs in Mortal Kombat, in the Jurassic Park, they couldn't even make Reptile look halfway decent.
They had no excuse.
No! Give or take, they didn't have the budget or Steven Spielberg. But come on! All you had to do was make Reptile. Yeah. And then you had the Elder Gods zoom down, call out Mortal Kombat, and they had to fight. I don't know what else to say about this. It irritates me even thinking about just how horribly this movie ends. Because he doesn't even kill him. He does a flipping back kick. He falls on the steps, and then his dragonfly gateway tattoo comes off of his back, leaving him in a husk, and then evaporates. Which is basically the rule that Raiden said was not a thing. Where they would only come off if they weren't a part of his bloodline. And then Shinnok got origamied into a box.
He went off into the Phantom Zone.
That's the Phantom Zone, exactly. And then they went home. And then Sindel was just better.
Not like, yeah. It's she's alive because they won.
Yay! I'm not a bitch anymore. Even though we never made it clear if I was brainwashed or not.
Yeah, this movie sucks.
I have to ask you, in your opinion, what is the worst video game movie you've ever seen?
The worst video game movie I've seen, I think it's probably if I say it's one of Uwe Ball's movies, like I have my pick of the litter.
Like Blood Rain. Oh, yeah, that's a company, but yeah, he's done a ton. Like,
I'll say my most disappointing video game movie would be Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I would say so because you had Marina Baccarin and wow, his name is escaping me. Magneto,
Fassbender
as your two leads. Like, how do you screw that up? I get it. You only have them go back in time for a sum total of about 30 minutes. You had that movie had gold written all over it. Then it was the director that was with Fassbender and Macbeth too.
Yep.
How?
Yeah, they really fumbled that one.
That was sitting on a tee with in his prime roided Maguire behind the plate, ready to knock it out of the park, and they just took the tee and threw it back into the stands. Like, but yeah.
So that if Assassin's Creed is my most disappointing, I would argue that this one's worse. But it's worse because, you know, as much as people love that first Mortal Kombat movie, it was not a sturdy foundation for a sequel.
No, it was, you had Shao Kahn's face. That's it. You had nothing. You didn't even have the floor built. It was just, and that's what you did with it. You killed off Johnny Cage right away. Arguably the best part of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
But no, gotta be Liu Kang again. And no offense to Robin Shaw, I actually think he was better as Liu Kang in this movie, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, this is a. Do you think? Here's a question. Do you think that some random schmoes in these movies are going to turn out to be old Mortal Kombat actors?
That's like, do you think like one of these guys will be in the 2021 film?
Yeah, like, you think Lyndon Ashby could just be some janitor at the freaking fighting studio where Cole is?
That'd be cool.
It would be. Like, it would be pretty sweet. Or just one of the random Shaolin monks as Robin Shaw.
Yeah, it would certainly be good for fans, like to see, even like even if they were like uncredited assassins, like that would still be pretty cool.
Yeah, like if you got to see a current character murder the actor of the old character, I'd like that. And I can't think of his name again, but the guy who played Shang Tsung, I think it'd be really cool if you had the guy who's currently playing Shang Tsung like turn into him for a hot second. That'd be really awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
And you can't tell me, people, that he's not up for it, because he came back to mocap and voice Shang Tsung last year for Aftermath.
Oh, really?
Yep. They used that model of him in the actual continuity of the games to show that he was the original Shang Tsung trapped in like a time portal since the start. So
wow.
He mocapped him, they scanned his face in, and he voiced him, and he was awesome. And he said basically every line. It was fantastic. But who out of all of them, who would you like to see the most? I honestly would like to see Lyndon Ashby.
Honestly, out of everyone, I think Robin Shaw needs to find some. There needs to be something for Robin Shaw.
Yeah.
And even if none of these actors actually end up in this Mortal Kombat movie, I think it's going to be successful.
Oh yeah. That trailer broke records, didn't it?
Yeah, it broke a couple.
Yeah, for like the most views in a short amount of time. That movie's gonna make gangbusters amount of money.
Yeah, and if we weren't still in a pandemic, like it would probably be. It would probably make at least half a billion.
Oh, absolutely. It would. I don't know if it would quite have Deadpool success, but it would be approaching Deadpool 2, I think, because people are chomping at the bit to have a good, bloody, violent video game movie. And this is the perfect time to release it in the time period of like Logan and Deadpool and among other. It's just The Boys, stuff like this is the perfect time to release it. And it's got a primarily Asian cast. That thing goes to Japan.
Yep.
You go make some money. And from what, again, that director has gone on and on about how he wanted people that could do the fights and how unless it's needed, there is no CGI.
Yeah, like as just watching that trailer, the only really the only real CGI I noticed was like, you know, Sub-Zero's ice and, you know, Jack's getting his arms like sliced off.
Are you? I still can't believe Mehcad Brooks is in that movie
with a Steve Harvey mustache.
Yeah, I can't get over it. When he said he was going to be in Mortal Kombat, I was like, that fucker's playing Jax. And then all of a sudden they're like, he looks like Steve Harvey. I'm like, all right, guys, I need to watch the trailer. He cannot look that much like, holy shit, does he look like Steve Harvey? I mean, like, give or take, he doesn't have quite the face structure, but he does. But like, you could have done without the mustache. You can't tell me someone didn't come up to him and be like, dude, you look like Steve Harvey. We might want to have you shave the mustache.
Yeah, and it's funny. That trailer is really the only time he looks like that.
Mm-hmm. Like the pictures, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, the pictures look much more badass.
Absolutely. Like, I'm just excited that Kung Lao is in this movie. Like, I'm waiting to see him decapitate like 6 people in a row for his opening shot with that hat. I'm so excited. If they pull, I tell you, one fatality I want to see in this movie. And it'd be the stupidest thing in the world because it never makes sense. One fatality that Kung Lao has is he takes his hat off and he throws it as hard as he can at the ground and it starts spinning like a razor blade in place and he drags someone by the legs clean through it and halves them through the hat.
I think we're gonna. I have a feeling we're gonna see a version of that at least once.
Oh, I would not be able to contain myself in that theater, and I have a good feeling that I'm going to be one of the few people in the Medford theater seeing it. I'm going to try and see if when we review it that I can bring up some video examples of like the fatalities if they like straight up just what do I want to say, reference some of them. So we're gonna have to see. Like, oh, there's also a metric ass load of characters in this movie, and they all look good. I can't wait. But yeah, we're talking about good things.
Yeah,
so,
we
because I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I think we said everything that we need to about Annihilation. So first of all, any final thoughts before I transition to a kind of sort of recommendation?
If you like Mortal Kombat, like Cyrax is cool in this movie, and like some other characters are, just watch the first one and then go watch Mortal Kombat. I want to say it's called Legacy.
Yep.
It was a web series that's shockingly really good. And the animated movie that came out recently.
Oh,
Scorpion's Revenge, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was actually going to be one of my recommendations.
Go ahead.
I actually haven't seen it yet. Cameron watched it and reviewed it last year. He said it was pretty decent. Like, it had the same sort of animation style as, all the DC direct-to-video films.
Yeah.
But that's
those
definitely...
who don't know, it's all that's under the WB banner for those that don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am definitely going to check that out before watching the movie. But my other recommendation, just as far as how well this series captures like R-rated violence, Invincible is
There you go.
is really good. This is the show that kind of led me to my thesis that I think Mortal Kombat would work better as a TV series, because you have like X amount of time to to go through like the entire tournament. Like say what's like the most amount of people you fight in the game? Like eight?
I believe that ladder is 10. I could be mistaken, but I believe it's 10.
Okay, so
it's 8 or 10.
So you can do like a 10 episode series, preferably animated, but live action works too. And each episode would be one of those fighters on the ladder.
Yeah, and also it wouldn't even have to be that. Like, you could do like the games do, where it's not even a Mortal Kombat tournament. It's just like a villain shows up, and then he's got some cronies, and he has a plan to take over blank and blank, and then you have to follow them as they take the person out. They've come up with stories like that. Like, Mortal Kombat has gotten to be a masterpiece of, you're watching a miniseries as you go through the campaign in those games.
Right. So the possibilities are just endless.
Absolutely. And like you said, if you did it animated, you'd get away with a lot of shit. There's more than enough Mortal Kombat characters to go around for a while, so.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do not be afraid to kill them, because there's also always stupid ways to bring them back.
And that in and of itself could be a storyline.
Absolutely. And it is. Mortal Kombat 11 is literally Kronika going, here's all the old versions of yourself. We're going to have some fun. Good Lord. Yeah. But trying to think also, wow, if you want a good time, go look up, I want to say it's called Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. It was the Mortal Kombat cartoon.
I read about that a couple days ago, and I forgot that even existed.
Yeah, there was a Mortal Kombat cartoon. There was a Street Fighter cartoon. There was a Tekken anime. There, like, almost all the classic ones had something back in the 90s. It was nuts. That Mortal Kombat one was dumb. That Mortal Kombat one, also, if I'm not mistaken, is where Quan Chi gets introduced, and then Quan Chi became one of the most important characters of Mortal Kombat history.
By the way, there was a like a syndicated live action series.
Yep, Conquest.
Yep.
It's bad. It's terrible. They reused the same set like 5 times an episode. It's a random town square. It's terrible.
If what we're trying to say is, if you want if you're chomping at the bit for the new Mortal Kombat movie and you want some things to watch, you've got options.
You've definitely got options. But yeah, go watch Legacy. Honestly, like, Dan Southworth, one of my favorite people, plays Kenshi, who is one of the best Mortal Kombat characters to ever come out of the PS2 era of those games, which most of the characters are absolute dreck. But Kenshi's amazing, and he's played by a legit, actual trained, like, what I want to say, fighter who knows how to do the movements, and used to be a Power Ranger. Daniel Southworth. He's awesome.
Oh, great. Another Power Rangers connection.
Absolutely.
Last thing I'll say before we sign off. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is more of a Power Rangers movie than even the first one.
Yeah. Are you trying to say that you kind of got reminded of Lord Zed when you were looking at Shao Kahn?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it was just terrible. I hate this movie. I love this movie, but I hate this movie. It's one of those movies I watch with people just to have them see what happened. They had a chance.
This is what garbage looks like.
It is. It's just, but yeah, there's more than what we could say about that. Me and Michael even if that new Mortal Kombat movie is just bad, it will be better than this. From the sheer quality of picture, it will be better.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a good feeling that this movie is going to be at least good, if
Same.
not great. Yeah. So they went out of their way to get actors that can actually do the roles. They look and fit the parts.
It just looks like a live action adaptation of like the NetherRealm era.
It does. And I can't wait. We need it. I need this in my life. I need a video game movie that I can go, damn it, they're not video game movies. They're movies that have video games in them. Whether they're bad or good is up to the freaking movie. And I need one to just knock it out of the park. And I think this is the one that's going to do it. Should have been Assassin's Creed and World of Warcraft. This is the one that's going to do it. I got faith.
It's going to happen.
It is. And then we'll be me and Mike will be doing a 0 hour about it. We'll have a thing on Renegade Pop Culture about it. There's going to be singing the praises of this thing, which I'm hoping is good. I got a lot of faith. All right, Mike, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. Check out all my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you could find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, streaming, YouTube. Yeah, and on the Renegade Pop Culture podcast every now and then. I'm mostly on the Renegade Arcade with Tyler and Kiona, so you'll see me there. And then the next time you see us, we will be reviewing a much, much better movie. So till then,